Well, it's time to see this track. Big, wide, sweeping first corner. This rhythm section right here, I think is going to play a role tonight. We saw guys looking at different options already in the free practice, and I like the bull turns, back and forth, back and forth. That's where the aggressive racing has come, Jim, and on this track we have 2 sets of a back-to-back bull turn, and I think both are going to be used perfectly for racing.
Well, they are, and you're going to see a lot of them right now, and these guys are getting after it right now. This one's a little bit packed, you know, because of the fact that we don't have a C group, so they had a few more guys in here, but you're going to have to downside that over and under.
Here's the Club MX teammates of Zach Williams and Josh Osby.
Osby's been putting in some good rides this year.
Look at the corners, perfect. Double, double. The 1 triple on the track is right here, and then as you make a left, there's this little, like, kind of a jump bounce. I saw guys double single. I saw guys bouncing over it. And then, of course, sweeping onto this big first corner. But I think this rhythm section is something we got to keep our eyes on today and tonight. Now, there's going to be a fast line. All the guys will figure out the fastest way through. But what I like about time qualifying is we get a chance to see the other lines that are available that guys might use later in the race. Remember, we look back at Tampa. Eli Tomac pulled out a pretty unique line in the rhythm section that he wasn't using in the early half of the main event. But when time mattered, he needed to make the pass on Marvin. He did it. And I think tonight in these 2 rhythm sections back-to-back, we'll see more of the same.
Well, and look at Osby here. He did that 1 triple in between that timing section. Let's see how he gets through the whoops here and get up on top of him. And
good run.
Good run for him. Just at the end there, kind of lost it here. Let's see if he doubles, and then the 65-foot triple. But this left-hander here, it's going to be a double single, but he just sent it coming out of that single and back into that first turn there.
The over tunnel of the over-under. And
yeah, there's 326. That's Trevor Ezel out of Kentucky. The only one and only. He's doing only this one in St. Louis. He's been with us before the whole tour and stuff, but I got a chance to talk to him down in the pits, and he said, hey, I'm just doing this one. So this is the start of his 2018 season here for Trevor Ezel. We'll see if he can make that main event. But you got to land on the downside right there. It's very hard to come out.
You got to remember that the opening rounds of a series, you're really trying to find your rhythm. You're trying to make sure your bike is set up correctly. And for the most part, most of the guys here in the East Coast now, they got their bikes dialed. Now they're in full race mode, yet he is in, hey, is everything right yet? And that makes things difficult.
And the classic right there is that triple. You see other riders tripling. He double singled. That's just one of those things. And he's looking behind him. He's just not set. He's not sure of himself. And you know, he's going to need a little bit of time, but hey, at least he came out and he rode with us. And but you can see everything right here. He's just kind of rolling, just kind of still feeling it out. And he's had a free practice, so I mean, you got to start picking it up.
An update from the leaderboard. We have 6 minutes and 50 seconds left in this session. Osby is at the top with a 51.2. That's over a second faster than Wilson Fleming, Zach Williams, Lane Shaw, and Tanner Basso, your top 5. There's our over tunnel, and I'm really curious to see how this start's going to work out tonight, especially in those early heat races. You know, don't forget, these 250 guys will go first tonight, and they're going to have a chance to get out there and make some decisions, and I know the 450 guys will be watching, looking to see how the start works. Who will be the first guy to kind of take the bait and go to that outside, you know, of the over tunnel, and very curious. You know, for the most part, these guys are used to a certain style of start. And here tonight, something brand new, and personally, I like that. I like throwing out new challenges and seeing how these guys respond. Wilson Fleming sitting right now in set. Whoa, that could have been scary. That's a steep.
That's a first.
Yeah, that's a steep lip up that side. He's in second right now with a 52.5, little over a second behind Josh Osby. And you know, for Osby, actually, he's had a good start to the season as far as the speed and the way he's been riding, but the results really haven't matched the riding. That's why he's in this B group. I'm sure he'd like to get back in that A group, but just the actual main event results haven't been there, and I think that's why he's not in the A group. But
well, and you mentioned last weekend, you know, he wasn't in the main event in Daytona. So just looking back and see, because I remember he was at the main event at the opener there in Arlington, because he's the one that got that good start.
Well, I think about 15 riders in that first turn remember that.
Yeah, I mean, he's made every main event up to Daytona. That's the only one he didn't make.
And again, his riding has been good. He's been aggressive. He's been fast. It's just getting the bike up front in the main event. But for Fleming, made his first main event a week ago. And, you know, in Daytona last week, I think it was 7 riders in the 250 class made their first main event on the same night. That's I don't know if that's a record or not, but I would assume it's got to be. That's a lot of guys to make their first main event in one night.
It is, and one of those riders, he's sitting 14th right now in the time qualifying 4:01. Samuel Redmond on the Kawasaki, he made his first main last weekend in that Daytona, and actually finished up pretty good at 17th for Samuel Redmond. So a good ride for him and the other 6 riders that made the main event. Daytona is a different character. You know, it's not like a traditional Supercross track. A lot longer on the lap times and a lot faster, a lot more faster straightaways, and a lot of times that helps a lot of the guys because they have that outdoor experience.
Chaz Braden on a 336 Kawasaki, sitting in 14th. Here's Lane Shaw, 4th in this session right now, the 986 Honda with a 52.8. See a little bit of head shake coming into that corner, and
well, that's at speed, Daniel. We talk about it. You know, they're going so fast in there, and they got the forks, you know, sucked up a little bit more to get that bike to corner a little quicker. When you get on those longer straightaways, sometimes when you shut the gas off, it kind of starts to twitch back and forth with you. And but they'll handle it. He'll make an adjustment on that bike, I'm sure of it.
It's still Osby at the top, 51.2, and you know, for the guys in Group B qualifying, if you took the whoops off the track, I would bet you the first 10 to 12 guys would be very, very, very close. But as you start getting a little bit more experience and a little faster, you start picking it up on the part of the track that is the most difficult, and that's the whoops. And that's where Osby, I think right now, he's 0.8 in front of his teammate, Zach Williams. And we saw Osby on that opening 2 laps, and he blitzed right through those whoops. And that's kind of the key for these guys moving forward is they all can do the triple. They're all pretty good in the corners. It's having the trust, the commitment to be able to come into that whoop section wide open and know that they can get through it. And you saw Osby, he had no issues, just wheelied right in, blitzed through. He's a guy who's got a little bit more experience, but as you see right there, pretty good run into the whoops. Again, it all comes down to trust. And the more trust you have, the faster entry speed you'll have and better the lap time. Here's Osby, 174 on the KTM. He's got a 51.2, but he's got a pretty good lap going right now. Finish line jump coming. See if he beats it. Good corner
right now. Yep.
Oh yeah, 50.6. So cuts almost another half a second.
You can always tell when a guy's on a heater just by his riding style.
The aggression.
Yeah, just what he's doing. Now he's going to cool down this lap. We always talk about it, Daniel. We like to see the guy back it up with another one, you know, but obviously he sees his name up there on the top of the leaderboard. He's got about 1:44 left, so he's just going to cool it down right now. Maybe he might go for one more, but I'm sure he'll take that one to the bank. He likes that.
You know, and for Osby, you look at the top of the board, you know you're the fastest in the session, but again, this is just this group. He's competing against the A guys for gate pick, and that's why you see Osby. He already had the fastest time, but he threw down another one because he knows that there's guys coming in the next group that are going to be a little faster, and you know, it's a little psychological because you're thinking to yourself, wow, I'm the fastest guy, I must be doing something right, but is this enough? And it's just that balance you really have to find.
I mean, I think it's a great time. I mean, you got to look back down at the bottom there, 19th and 20th. If you're Trevor Ezel, you're looking at 59.7. You're going, man, where am I going to make up 9 seconds to Osby? And then Mason Morris, he's turning at 1:12. So clearly those guys have got to pick it up in that, you know, final qualifying session. That's a lot of time to make up.
Again, probably comes back to comfort. As we see Zach Williams, that's a good run through the whoops right there. You can see the consistency. Every whoop looked the exact same, and that all goes back to the entry speed. If you can get on top in the 3rd, 4th whoop, you can kind of then control it. You know, it's by the 4th whoop, you kind of know how your run's going to be through the things. And you know, for Williams, you could see right there his entry was good in the whoops, and he was able to carry it all the way out.
Well, let's see what he does here after this left-hander. It should be a double and then a triple right here.
Big
nailed that, and then he's got a double into the corner, and then you got the finish line. Let's see if he can bump up his time from the 52.8.
And he does. 51.8 now. So he cut about 3/10 off of his lap time, and
that's probably going to do it. I think the checkered flag might be getting ready to come out. Yeah,
time is up. Checkered flag is out, so everybody on their lap right now. Here's Shaw putting together his last hot lap. Everybody else is kind of just...
Shaw backed it down. Osby looked like he might have been on a heater one more time. He looked like he was on a faster.
You see the ruts right there forming in the corner? Like Anderson said, though, they're
usable ruts.
They're usable. You actually like them. Instead of trying to avoid them, you like them because you can kind of bank off of them, and
there it is.
Yeah,
look
how close. Now,
right
see how they're a little bit wider than normal. The guys can lay it over. They can trust that they can kind of get in there with their foot pegs, and that's what Anderson was alluding to. Is more usable.
And when you're riding there, those ruts are far enough apart where you don't have to get into the next guy. But if I'm the guy on the outside and the guy rams him, go, man, you were in your rut. Why'd you have to come into mine?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I had to pass you before the finish line.
Well, I think that's the beauty of putting a bull turn right before the checkered flag is, hey,